No one knew where the zombies came from. It was a sunny afternoon. The teacher and a few students were on the rooftop, gardening. Suddenly, they heard horrifying screams from below. Perplexed, they approached and saw students running frantically, some turning violent and attacking others. The entire school plunged into chaos. Kurumi was bewildered, and suddenly a girl fell from the sky. In the next second, the girl turned into a zombie. Kurumi sat there, terrified. A caring senior rushed over, grabbed Kurumi, and hurriedly led her away. On the way, Kurumi meets a classmate who has been bitten, and sees that the other classmate's eyes have already turned white and Kurumi is still dumbfounded. At the critical moment, the senior blocked the fatal bite for Kurumi. Kurumi helps the infected senpai up to the rooftop. Little did they know, there were infected individuals there as well. A few students ran downstairs in panic, unaware that downstairs was even more dangerous. The teacher tried to stop everyone, but it was too late. Seeing zombies closing in, the teacher could only close the door and use a refrigerator to block it. However, there was still a zombie on the rooftop. Yuri was almost bitten, but the brave teacher intervened just in time and killed the zombie. Yet, the danger was not over. The bitten senior was undergoing mutation, gradually losing consciousness and approaching Kurumi. Kurumi picked up a shovel from the ground and decisively struck. The school, and even the entire island, had fallen. Only one teacher and 3 students survived. They wrote a large SOS on the rooftop, hoping a rescue team would find them. Luckily, there were a few vegetable gardens on the rooftop, temporarily solving their food problem. However, relying on vegetables for too long would lead to malnutrition. Kurumi and Yuri are going to the canteen to find some staples and meat for a balanced diet. They carefully approached the ground floor and saw several zombies roaming in the hall. Yuri took out ping-pong balls prepared in advance and threw them in different directions, diverting the attention of the zombies. Seeing that the zombies are distracted, they rush through the hall. Once they cross this corridor, they can go straight to the canteen. However, at the corner, there was another zombie. Seeing it about to turn around, they quickly crouched. The zombie, with its low vision, didn't notice them. Just as they relaxed, Yuri suddenly looked terrified. Another zombie appeared in front of them, and in the next second, it pounced towards Kurumi. Kurumi blocked the attack with the shovel, but the noise attracted the other zombie back. Yuri kept swinging the bat in her hand. She did no damage to the zombies, as if she was giving them a massage. Yuri was so scared that she sat down on the floor. Just as Kurumi finished off one zombie, another zombie jumped at her. Seeing that the zombie had grabbed Yuri's long legs, Kurumi pushed away the one in front of her with all her strength. Kurumi then swung a shovel to kill the zombies and saved Yuri. They then proceeded to the cafeteria, finding it in a dilapidated state. However, they managed to discover a pack of noodles. Suddenly, Kurumi heard a noise. Holding the shovel, she approached slowly. Unexpectedly, upon opening the door, she was tackled by something inside. As Kurumi flipped over, she realized it was a surviving student. For safety, they conducted a thorough examination, confirming no injuries before relaxing. The student turned out to be Miki, a sophomore who had been hiding in the cafeteria since the virus outbreak until they found her. To welcome Miki, they ate the Italian noodles obtained at the cost of a life. However, amidst the joyous atmosphere, Miki wore a troubled expression. Food would eventually run out, and she didn't want to sit idly waiting for that to happen. Early the next day, the school's broadcast inexplicably started playing, attracting zombies with its familiar melody. It turns out that Miki purposely played the radio to gather the zombies in order to leave the school. Upon hearing the music, Kurumi and Yuri rushed to the broadcasting room to turn it off. Yuki Takeya also found Miki, who was about to leave, but no matter how she persuaded, it was in vain. Although Miki had a set of car keys, she couldn't locate the vehicle. With zombies closing in, they climbed onto a van, surrounded instantly by the zombies. This sight reminded Miki of the virus outbreak when she witnessed classmates being dragged away by zombies. When Miki regained her composure, Kurumi was attempting to distract the zombies with noise, but it proved ineffective. Seeing them in dire straits, Yuri returned to the broadcasting room, selecting a song she liked. The zombies were attracted to the sound. Seizing the opportunity, Yuki Takeya pulled Miki off the van, and they passed through the zombie crowd. finally returning to the safe zone. Although narrowly escaping danger, food was running scarce. They had to take the risk and venture into the school's storage room for supplies. The two formidable high school students teamed up and charged into the corridor filled with zombies. Despite being their first time teaming up, their coordination was seamless, quickly dispatching all the zombies. Their efforts were not in vain. The storage room was filled with various life essentials, providing more than enough to sustain them for several years. However, amid their joyous efforts to move the supplies, a zombie suddenly appeared. Kurumi raises her shovel to attack, only to realize it's her senior. Various pleasant memories flashed through Kurumi's mind. Kurumi, who was already in love with Senpai, hesitated this time. The zombified senior, without hesitation, tackled Kurumi to the ground, intent on biting her. In a critical moment, Yuri intervened, wielding a fire extinguisher and promptly killing the zombie. With abundant life supplies, their lives gradually returned to normal. They planted vegetables together on the rooftop, engaged in pillow fights, and spent evenings stargazing. However, the joyous times were always so fleeting. Just as they were having a party, the fire alarm suddenly rang for unknown reasons, its piercing sound echoing throughout the entire campus. Zombies began to stir, converging towards the teaching building. When they reached the ground floor, they found a zombie playing with fire, self-immolating. Everyone was instantly stupefied. The zombie horde broke through barriers, flooding in. Amidst the chaos, they were forced to separate. One of the zombies jumped at them and Kurumi blocked it with a shovel, telling the two people behind him to hurry up and leave. On the second floor, Yuri discovered it was already infested with zombies. Mickey had just dealt with one when they accidentally fell. Zombies behind them closed in, and more broke through the doors in front. Screams rang throughout the campus as zombie hands stretched out of the window. The zombies were already hungry and thirsty. They got up and ran, passing through the zombie horde into an activity room. They used tables and chairs to barricade the door, but the zombies soon breached the defenses. They were on the verge of peril. Yuki Takeya, with zero combat ability, sat on the ground, emitting a desperate scream. Only Kurumi managed to escape to the rooftop, attempting to hold off the zombies. However, their numbers were overwhelming, and even the formidable Kurumi found herself cornered in a 1 square meter space, completely trapped. At the last moment when she was about to give up, she thought of the words that her senpai had once said to her.
諦めんな。転んでも立ち上がってきただろう。
Love's strength was indeed formidable. Kurumi bravely stood up once again, leaped from the rooftop, and, picking up a shovel from the ground, swung it with determination. She didn't blink an eye as she killed zombies all the way from the rooftop to the event room. Meanwhile, Yuri and Mickey were still struggling against the zombies. Fortunately, Kurumi arrived in time, successfully rescuing them. However, Yuki Takeya and the teacher's whereabouts remained unknown. The hallway was filled with burnt bodies, and the smell of barbecue permeated the air. They traversed the corridor, finally finding them in the infirmary. Tragically, the teacher had turned into a zombie. It turned out that even before the fire occurred, the teacher had been bitten while trying to protect the students. Knowing she would soon mutate, she pushed the students out of the infirmary, choosing to stay behind alone. Even after turning into a zombie, she didn't forget to protect the students, tying herself up with a rope. They were engulfed in sorrow. Kurumi, teary-eyed, once again lifted the shovel to bid the teacher farewell. In the movie's finale, all zombies were eradicated. The surviving 4 deeply bowed to the school, then drove away, seeking a new safe zone.